What's up, beautiful people? I am back today. Um, I've been out for a while um, because I've been wrestling with God about this topic today. But it is time for me to tell my story, my testimony. It is time for me to expose Satan and his demons and the deception and the lies that we as humans follow. Okay? Today we're going to talk about divination. Um, Divination is basically the practice of witchcraft or the practice of um, fortune telling, meditations, yoga. These are open doorways. They open doorways. It is a lucrative employment, basically. Lucrative means basically um, profitable. These people practice this stuff because it's profitable. As humans, we go through a lot of things. We encounter a lot of problems in our lives, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, a dependency, or sickness or illness in our body. And because we feel like God isn't helping us or working fast enough, even though we've prayed, we run to these things. And that's where the deception comes in and the doorways begin to open. Divination is talked about in the Bible, which I did not know until I gave my life over to God and I began to study His Word and I began to pray to Him diligently and put away my worldly and sinful nature. Divination is practiced by a lot of people. We're talking about sorcerers, witches, wizards, false prophets, dreamers, astrologers, magicians, soothsayers, which are fortune tellers. It's idolatry. It's raising the dead. It's charmers. It's um, necromancers, which is basically discoverings of the unknown. Okay, when you're seeking the unknown knowledge, it's diviners and consultants of familiar spirits. It's what it is. But what God says about it in the Bible is basically it's practice of abomination. It is practice of fraud, lies, and deception. It's basically seeking from beast, and that's what they call spirits, energies, powers. This is what they call it in their terms to cover up the real definition of what divination is. So we're going to talk about this today. And we're going to talk about my testimony. I did not want to talk about it, even though God has been poking at me about it and telling me that I have to. He said that this testimony, somebody's going to listen, and hopefully it helps somebody to prevent having to go through what me and my family is going through. Before our situation happened, I believed in God. I was raised in a church. I was raised in different beliefs. One minute Jehovah Witness, one minute Baptist, one minute Catholic. My mom was all over the place. But she believed in God, and she raised us in believing in God. As a young teenager, I've always been into horoscopes. Okay? I've always been into horoscopes and rocks. I don't know why I was into rocks. I just always found them pretty. The different patterns, the crystals inside of them, the glitter inside of them. I just always thought it was fascinating. Horoscopes, I was always into it. I literally would get up every morning to go steal somebody's paper just to read the horoscope section. And I remember my mom used to tell me, you need to stop messing with those things. Stop reading that. She used to always tell me this. But I would never listen. It's horoscope, Mom. It's just telling me what my day's supposed to be like today. That's how I thought about it at the time because I was blind. I had a veil over my eyes, so what my mom was saying, what God was sending my mom to tell me, like God uses so many of us to tell people things and people don't listen, that was me. But I didn't listen. I thought my mom was just being either a hypocrite or paranoid. You know, I wasn't into the God thing or like that. And after having to beg God to relieve me from my pain, my kids' pain, and the loss of my grandchild, I can tell you how much more realer he could be because he's the only person who's been able to help me to deal with what me and my family had to go through. Okay, so I'm hoping that my testimony can help somebody, and I hope somebody's listening. So, I want to first start off and say that first be careful of the people in your life. Not everybody that's in your life is supposed to be in your life. Sometimes Satan places people in our lives for a reason. He has some type of plan. His job is to seek and destroy. So just be careful of the people in your life. When God give you warnings about them or you start having feelings about them, something just don't sit right with them, it's for a reason. Listen. So I'm going to start off saying that when a situation that happened with my grandchild, I could not think of anything, any reason why what happened to my grandchild, why it happened, how it happened. Like, it just made no sense. It made no sense. And I asked God and I begged God and I cried to God and I asked him, how? How did this happen? Why did this happen? And he revealed to me that I offended him because I knew better. I was raised in the church. I was told that these things that I was doing was detestable, but I chose to do what I wanted to do. I chose to fall away from the faith. And because I did, me and my family suffered for it. We suffered. And at the same time, God has brought me back to the faith. And I'm so grateful that he removed that veil from my eyes to wake me up because time is running out. Time is running out, so he has chosen me to not only share my testimony today, but to speak his word, to be his servant, and to speak his truths. I am now one of those people that I used to prosecute, talk about, laugh at. Here I am. I hope y'all listening. So my testimony starts out. First, I found a rock in my plant. I don't know where this rock came from. It just mysteriously popped up in my plant that I watered every day, so I would have noticed it. So I'm assuming this rock was planted in my house. There was only 3 people coming into my house. One of 3 people could have planted that, had to have planted that rock. I posted it on Facebook, asking people if they knew what kind of stone this was. Several people gave their opinion on what they thought it was. And what it did was open up my excitement about rocks again. Me and my friend at the time, we had a falling out. And she said to me, "Sis, you got too much negative energy in your life. You got too much drama in your life going on. So I'm going to block you until I figure it out." I said, okay. Even though I couldn't understand why we fell out, because I felt like it was something that she had did. But you know what? Sometimes God removes people out of your life for a reason, you know? And I'm grateful for that as well, because I couldn't have became who I am right now today if that person was still in my life. Although I'm still praying for her and I still love her. So because I was told I had so much drama and bad energy in my life, I got into stones and meditation. I had another friend at the time who was already into this stuff. Although she never really discussed much of it about it to me. We got to talking about chakras, which is supposed to be different points in your body that holds energy. And once you activate these chakras, I think there's 6 of them, 7 of them. Once you activate these chakras, you're supposed to reach your higher being. You're supposed to be enlightened. You're supposed to be some sort of God. You're supposed to have like some type of godly sense about yourself. Okay. So anyway, I found out that she's really into this stuff, and her neighbor was a fortune teller who also messed with the meditation and the stones. She would basically read your fortune, and she would mess with tarot cards. I've had her read my fortune before the situation with my grandbaby, and I had her read my fortune after the situation with my grandbaby, because I wanted answers. Nothing made any sense to me. Not even my grandbaby's autopsy. It just made no sense. So, my friend, she, to show how deep she had gotten into it, she had a jar with her husband's sock tied with bond. It had bind, and it was in a jar with some kind of liquid, which is supposed to protect him from any type of harm while he was incarcerated. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not trying to get that deep into it. This is what I'm telling her. I just want to learn about the chakras, and I want to learn about these stones. That's what I was interested in. I wasn't, in my mind, trying to get into it as deep as I thought she was into it. To me, that looked like witchcraft. And I'm like, I'm cool on that. But that was the trickery of it. I thought if I stuck with something more simpler, that I would be okay. So anyway, as I'm starting to learn about these stones, I'm Googling up different people on social media that's supposed to help you understand chakras, and they got these singing bowls and the rocks and explaining the different chakras. And as I explained to y'all, I got Rikers edema, which is basically, they say it comes from smoking. But then they also wanted to do a biopsy to make sure it wasn't cancerous. And I'm not letting nobody cut on me, so I'm going to keep my faith in God, and I'm going to be all right. I go into the store, and it's just full of any kind of rock you could possibly want. Any kind of stone. Pretty stones. Every size. When I walked into the store, I felt like I was going to pass out. I don't know. I can't explain it. I just felt like confused, kind of like I was gonna pass out. That's the only way I can explain it. Like I just didn't feel right. So one of the employees, she takes me over to the dollar section, and there's a big table with a bunch of polished stones. So on the table, there's each stone had a little sheet of paper that explained what these different rocks were for and what type of energies and powers they possessed. Pay attention to the word energies and powers. Okay. I choose maybe about 20 at the time. I was just excited. Like, I've always been into rocks. I felt like I was where I was supposed to be. I paid for these stones. I get home. I started reading these papers for each stone, and I'm trying to learn the names, and I'm lining the rocks up with the paper, and I'm Googling them, and they say to activate them, you have to like breathe into them, talk to them, tell them what their purpose is in your life. I'm buying stones for love. I'm buying stones for throat chakra because I'm trying to heal this Vikings edema. I'm buying stones that's supposed to bring in peace and prosperity and financial stability and all the lies that they tell you. And I'm just getting so into this stuff. I would get home and I would sit at the table and would sit there. And by the time I got through reading up on these stones and activating them, it would be 4 hours then passed. That should have been my second warning that something wasn't right. But I was just so into it that it wasn't. I started buying sage. I started sage in my house. I started meditating with these stones. I was lining them up around my tub with candles and, taking baths with them. And to be honest with y'all, it felt like it was working. I felt like I was being my higher self. I started feeling like I was bringing in positivity. I felt like I could block out any type of negative energy. I felt like it was working. I felt like it was working. I felt powerful. I started buying more rocks. I was there at least, 3, 4 times out of the month, looking at different rocks, learning what they do, learning the names of them. I then took my son into the store after I told him about these rocks, and he was excited. He wanted to go see because my son was into rocks. For some reason, me and my kids have been into rocks. This is what was drawn to us. This is how you know when Satan is at work. I take my son into the store. He grabs maybe 12 stones, but it was one in particular stone that he picked up, and he kept saying, "Ma, when I pick this stone up," he's like, "when I hold it, I just feel like I want to cry, like I feel weak." But he was excited, because he was feeling this from this one stone. And, I'm telling him what they was telling me. Oh, when you feel stuff like that, that means this stone is resonating with you. This is the dumb stuff I'm telling my child. Okay? So I go back a couple of days later, and I go buy the same stone that my son had because I want to see if I'm going to resonate with it. The stone was called Argonite. It was brown with a bunch of clusters on it. I did not get that same feeling that he got. I didn't get anything. However, I did get a feeling from this one stone called Lazarite, I believe it was. It's gray with like a pinkish purple swirls in it and specks of look like silver. Every time I would hold that stone, it would literally shock me. Like not like a shock, like literal electricity surged through my fingertips. That should have been warning number 3. But it was not. I was amazed by it. I felt like this is my stone. This is the one. That's how I felt. I was buying all kinds of stones. Angelite or whatever, which is supposed to open up the spirit realm. I was trying to activate this third eye chakra. As I said, I was sitting in my room with a Buddha statue with candle in it, with all my stones. At this point, I had about 50, maybe 60 stones, and I would circle them around me. I would sage the room. I would grab my Bible and say, God, well, you said, what is faith without works? I'm trying to work on myself. I know you tired of me coming to you about my problems and I'm not doing my own works. Father, I hope this doesn't offend you. I just want to help myself. Do you know how offensive that was to God? How I was offending him and I didn't even know? God said, you cannot eat at the table with the Lord and then eat at the table with Satan at the same time. You can't drink from the cup of the Lord and drink from the cup of Satan at the same time. And that's exactly what I was doing. And I knew better subconsciously because God had my mother tell me this before when I was younger. But I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And I paid for it. Not only did I pay for it, but my kids did too. Because I got them into it. And this is why I want to tell y'all, be careful of things you do because it don't just affect you. It does not just affect you. So anyway, my daughter comes to me one day. She said, Ma, whatever you do, don't buy Multivite. She shows me some type of TikTok or YouTube, some type of social media app, and there's multiple people on there crying, saying stay away from Multivite. Multivite removes people out of your life that you don't want. It does this, it does that. Multivite's supposed to be this extraterrestrial stone from somewhere out of space. Me, I feel like I was knowledgeable enough about these stones because at this point, I could look at rocks and name them. I can name them at this point. So I felt like I was knowledgeable enough to go get Multivite and I would be okay. That I would probably get even more powerful. I would get even more enlightened. That's what I thought. So I go buy Multivite. They got it behind their cabinet locked away with several other stones, which should have been warning number, 5 at this point? But it wasn't. Now I feel like I'm getting to the good stuff. I'm getting to the nitty gritty. I pay about $90 for a stone about this size. I purchase a necklace that I can hold several stones in. So at this point, I am wearing the Multivite. I'm wearing Tanzanite. Celestalite. I don't even remember all these names at this point no more, and I thank God I don't because it ain't meant to. But I'm wearing about 6 stones. Pyrite, which is a really pretty gold one. It looked like a gold nugget. Another one that had rainbow colors in it, but it was a metal, man-made. I would switch it up. I just feel like I'm just... spiritually high at this point. Within about a month and a half of me having all these stones and meditating and messing with this chakra stuff and doing chakra classes and seminars and singing the song Spirit by Beyonce like it was my God song. I literally was singing this song into my 5-year-old's spirit. I did not like this song originally because I felt like it was evil. But when I started messing with this stuff, for some reason that was my spirit song. I played it a lot. When I played it, I felt powerful. I felt like my higher me was taking over me. Stupid. Um, Within a month and a half of having these stones, I lost my granddaughter. My kids, my girls, and my cousin all kept talking about this black spirit that they were seeing around the house, a black shadow figure that I didn't see. I mean, I've had feelings of, something being there, but I never seen anything. I would just, in the name of spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ, you a lie, Satan, you a lie. That's what I would say. But I had no authority at that time. Could I try to use the name of Jesus Christ to bind any type of spirit when I was inviting them? The lies. The lies. I never saw these spirits. The night my granddaughter came over, I fell to sleep with my grandchild, holding her in his arm, with this arm around her, cuffed under her side. I have slept with every last one of my children. I have 5 kids. I've slept with every one of my grandchildren. I've slept with them in that bed multiple occasions. Not once have I dropped any of my children. Not once did I roll over any of my children or grandchildren. Not ever has any of my grandkids got wedged between the bed and the wall. When I tell y'all, the bed was this far from the wall. How was it even humanly possible for my grandchild's body, yet alone her head, to fit? And it's not possible. It's not possible. When I asked for an autopsy for my grandchild, I was trying to find everything to explain to me how it was possible. I cannot forget that night. I felt like I was dreaming. I felt that way for a very long time. A long time, and all I wished was that I would wake up. I never woke up. Just that when I became aware of my surroundings and what had happened, I was being called a child murderer. I was being accused of killing my own grandchild. My kids were being accused of killing my grandchild. All kind of things were being said about my family. My son was against me. My daughter-in-law was against me. My granddaughter's other grandmother was against me. Everything that could have been said about me was said. I prayed to God to touch those people. I couldn't believe the things that was being said. I never thought I would end up going through nothing like that. It was like a movie. I could not save my grandchild. I could not understand why this happened to my grandchild or how it happened. And on top of it, I got everything under the sun being said about me. Yeah. That next day, I got rid of every stone in my house. I was keeping them in a box. All my meditation stuff. That was my God at the time. I put more time and effort into some stones, y'all, and wonder why God was mad, why he allowed what happened to happen. God is a jealous God. And when you know better, when you know right from wrong, you know the truth, you get punished more. But I'm thankful that God revealed to me his truth. And I've told several people what I believed happened, because even the autopsy made no sense. Y'all are saying, oh, well, she suffocated. You're going to say that because that's the only thing that humanly makes sense. If I find my grandbaby between the bed and the wall, naturally you're going to say, she suffocated. Nah. You can't explain to me how she got there. How she ended up out my arms and my daughter ended up in my arms. You can't explain it. You can't explain the black shadowy figures or any of that because it's not humanly possible. But when God opened your eyes to this divination, this world of good and evil, angels and demons, it becomes real. The things that we cannot see is real. When I told several people about what I really believed that it was, no, Nene, it's not your fault. No, Nene, that's not it. God wouldn't let that happen. No, he did. He did let it happen. He didn't cause it, but he let it. I opened them doors. I did that. God says that he uncovers mysteries hidden in darkness, that he brings light into the deepest gloom, that wisdom and power, understanding is his, and he will reveal it to you. If you come to him and you give your life to him, you seek him diligently, you ask God for forgiveness, he will reveal things to you. And I'm just asking anybody that's into this stuff, leave it alone, because you don't know what you're messing with. You don't know. And these people that's doing all this hypnotism, matter of fact, I went to that store and I got hypnotized. It was supposed to be to quit smoking. I'm still smoking. It didn't work. I don't know what that woman could have spoken to my life. I got hypnotized probably about a week and a half before this happened to my grandchild. These people are liars. This shit is demons. It's demonic. Leave it alone. I'm serious, y'all. Y'all don't know what y'all messing with. Leave it alone. I'm going to read some scriptures to y'all and I'm gonna be done. I was told to tell my testimony, and it is done. I just hope that somebody's listening, and I hope that somebody gets something from it. And Deuteronomy 18:10, God says, never sacrifice your sons or your daughters as a burnt offering, and do not let your people practice fortune telling or use sorcery or interpret omens or engage in witchcraft or cast spells or function as mediums or psychics or call forth the spirits of the dead. He said these things are detestable to him. We're going to go over to Leviticus 26. I will also turn against those who commit spiritual prostitution by putting their trust in mediums or in those who consult the spirits of the dead. I will cut them off from the community. So set yourselves apart to be holy, for I am the Lord your God. Let's read Leviticus 19:31. Do not defile yourselves by turning to mediums or to those who consult the spirits of the dead. I am the Lord your God. Zechariah 10:2. I'm just saying, y'all, this stuff is all demonic. Why do you think they call it spirits, energies? It's just, you have to make it make sense for yourself. You have to. These people tell us anything. They can pay for this. Zechariah 10:2. I'm hoping that my testimony helps somebody today. And I don't care if you say I'm crazy. I don't care if anybody try to use this as some type of way to go keep talking, baby. The worstest thing that could have been said about me has already been said. But I promise this, God repays. You cannot bear false witness against your neighbor. When I asked God to touch those people that were saying the things they were saying about me and my grandkid and my kids, God has allowed me to sit back and watch them go through their season. And I'm telling you, their season was bad, and I had to say, God, that's enough. And God said, who am I? Who am I to tell him when enough is enough? You have to pay for the things that you say and the lies that you tell about people. So be cautious of that. 10:2. Household gods give worthless advice. Fortune tellers predict only lies. And interpreters of dreams pronounce falsehoods that give no comfort. So my people are wandering like lost sheep. They are attacked because they have no shepherd. When he says that his people are being attacked because they have no shepherd, he's saying his people are being attacked because they're into this demonic stuff and they have nobody to guide them to the truth, because this stuff is lies. It's lies. It's deception from the devil. You're opening up doorways. Stop messing with this stuff, this yoga, this meditation, these stones, these fortune tellers, these palm readers, these tarot cards. I'm telling you, let it go. You're opening up doors you're not going to be able to close. And to this day, my daughter-in-law is now seeing this black entity in my house. Even though I've oiled my house, I've anointed it, I've prayed over it, I've built a relationship with God. God has been protecting me and my kids and my grandbabies from whatever it is. It can't touch us. But it's still there, so there's still an open door somewhere in my house. Okay? This stuff is very real. I have not seen it. My son have not seen it. But now my daughter-in-law seeing it. So whatever it is, it seems to want to present itself to the females in my house. Okay? I don't know if my grandchild was seeing it and that's why she kept crying. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to take you to Jeremiah 27:9. Just y'all, I'm telling y'all, quit messing with stuff y'all don't know what you're messing with. 27:9. Do not listen to your false prophets, fortune tellers, interpreters of dreams, mediums, and sorcerers who say, the king of Babylon will not conquer you. They are all liars, and their lies will lead you to being driven out of your land. What more you need to hear? They say, don't think that they say the king of Babylon will not conquer you. Do you know who the king of Babylon is? Babylon was started by Nebuchadnezzar. He was the first person to start a rebellion against God. That is the king of Babylon. Meaning that these demons want you to think that you're not going to offend God by doing this. This is why I was saying, God, I hope I'm not offending you. I was offending him to the fullest. I was putting another God in his presence. And I had to pay for that. Jeremiah 14:14, last one, and I'm going to be done. I'm going to let y'all go. I'm hoping somebody listening. And that somebody else may have had something similar happen in their life. Tell your testimony, man. We got to help our brothers and sisters, because if they blind, they don't know. God don't allow things to happen to us just to hold it to ourselves. We got to teach his word and teach somebody else. So what if they say you crazy? So what if they prosecute you? Do you know prosecution in God's eyes is a gift? That means we doing something right. So, okay, let's go to the last scripture. Jeremiah 14:14. Then the Lord said, these prophets are telling lies in my name. I did not send them or tell them to speak. I did not give them any messages. They prophesy of visions and revelations they have never seen or heard. They speak foolishness made up in their own lying hearts. Therefore, this is what the Lord says. I will punish these lying prophets, for they have spoken in my name, even though I never sent them. They say that no war or famine will come, but they themselves